Hi everyone, my name is Kelly and welcome to my channel Be You. Let me just adjust here just to kind of see in my face. Let me take off my cool hat. Okay, hopefully you can see me a little better. Let me take this off. All right. Okay. Yes, doing this during the day, it's interesting because of the sun readjusting. All right, so this is part 3 of my story, telling you basically all the things I went through and what I overcame. I don't call them challenges anymore, but as I'm doing this, that's what I'm referring to. Um, is challenge, but I don't see it that way anymore. So where I left off on part 2 was meeting Mary and getting healed using the heart connection, 2 points to freedom technique, and then going and getting certified. And I put my webpage and everything up in the intro, the description box. That way you can link into my other Instagram. I'm also on Facebook. I'm not sure if that one's on there, but by my name, Kelly Musard, you'll find me on Facebook. And so this one is it took, I would say, probably a while to be able to let me just push this down just a little bit. Okay, so it took me a while to heal from the sexual abuse. And so I'm here sharing my experience and then sharing my breakthroughs at a technique called IET, Integrated Energy Therapy. And I'm going to go into exactly what that is, what that entails. And of course, it is a service that I offer. So every service that I offer you, I have literally went through that healing myself. So I know like there are results. It really does work. So that being said, let's just get started with my story. So I was sexually abused. I want to say, I think it was like 8 or 9, but I'm not too sure. And it was by my uncle. Most of the time, sexual abuse, if I can say that, abuse happens with family members or friends of family. It's pretty much people you know. So yeah, that was my uncle. It happened 3 different occasions, and it actually stopped when I told him no. And I remember that like it was yesterday, even though it was many, many years ago. Um, and after that, it stopped. But the pain was there for many, many years to come. I held on to guilt of like, why didn't I tell him to stop or no the first time? I was also very confused. Coming from our family, love wasn't shown. So, not in the way that you think, there was no hugging, there was no I love you. You never got any of that. So, I was very confused when it happened. I was very close with my uncle. My dad wasn't ever really in my life. So he was pretty close because he was older. He was pretty close to kind of like a, you know, father figure, but I guess you would say a brother figure. But yeah, I can even tell you when it happened. One time, the very first time, it was at a railroad track. Uh, and on that, he asked me to go to the store, and I went to the store with him multiple times. So I didn't think anything of it. So I did, and then I noticed like we didn't go to the store. We went there. And I think at that time, the only thing I can remember is like the shock, and maybe probably disbelief. I think I was just more shocked and like numb. Um, I don't even remember all like the details, and I'm not going to share that anyways. There's no point of that. Um, but yeah, so by doing that, that was the very first time. And then it happened two other times, one at my grandma's, um, and I think the other one might have been at my grandma's, maybe not. I think it might have been at my mom's apartment where we were living. But anyways, so that's the very first one. So with that, I lost trust of men, basically. I didn't really have a lot of trust in men at that age, anyways, but I kind of lost trust there. And then down the road, my mom was married to a man, and it happened again. Now, the interesting thing about that is he knew what happened with my uncle. My mom apparently told him that. So like I was to the point where if you were a guy and you were older than me, you couldn't really touch me. Like I would just like quit and I would just freeze up like I didn't know what to do. So I didn't trust this stepdad just because he was a older man. So in time, me and him became really close. I literally looked at him like a father. Um, and I think that is more shocking than anything is like he allowed me to build trust with him. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate that's going to watch this video that they build trust with you. And then once you're trustworthy of that person, that's when it kind of they make their move. Um, and yeah, that only happened um, mm, just I think two times. Um, and again, it was very mm, just I guess what's coming through my mind is as being such an innocent as a child, we're all innocent. Um, and this is how my mindset was back then. Being innocent and having that taken away. And I remember that um just going back to my uncle of like the innocence not being there. And then as well, sex in a whole became very weird to me. In many different ways as I got older. But my uncle was I was either 8 or 9, and then the stepfather, I want to say 14, maybe 15, somewhere around there. Um, so after that, there was a complete shutdown. But what I thought was so fascinating is that I used, as I got older, in my early 20s, basically, I used sex as like an escape. And I always found that interesting of like, it wasn't romantic. Like how you meet and the very first person you're supposed to give it away to, it's supposed to be like your soulmate, or if you believe that. I did not care. um Honestly, the reason why I was 18 when I lost my virginity, and the only reason is because everybody else was talking about it, so I was like, okay, that's fine. So then I just did it just to see all this hype, and it wasn't it wasn't that great. So I'm like, okay, like it wasn't sure. But I never had sex with someone that I cared about. And if I cared about that person, I wouldn't have sex with them. That's how I was in my early 20s, believe it or not. Yeah, it's a lot. You can tell the misfunction, the different things that were not close to being, I guess, say normal, but there's not really any normal now than there was. So yeah, that is what I noticed in my 20s. And anger. Oh, I was so angry. The only emotion that I had was anger. And that started probably, I would say, right after my stepdad, because I remember going, what am I doing to deserve this? I must have been a really bad person in a past life to get this. And I remember saying those exact words. I Have you ever said anything like that? I guarantee you, if you went through this, you have probably said that. Also, the guilt. I couldn't even talk about this. I couldn't even do anything. Now, one thing that I noticed, one thing that came to my mind is most kids don't talk about it. Most kids don't tell them. And here are signs to all moms, dads, whoever's watching this. Here are signs that your kid's being abused. One, if they start to close down. Two, if they start to wet the bed when they have not done that in many years. Three, anger. They all of a sudden they're just angry all the time. These are kind of signs that something might be going on with your kid. And if you just sit down with them and just ask them, because they're thinking it's their fault. That's what I thought. I'm like, oh man, this is all my fault. I must have gave him some signal or something. It it's not the kid's fault, but it's so hard for a child to realize what happened isn't their fault. So if I can help anyone do this part of my sharing of my life, is those are clear signs that something's happening with your kid. That just sit them down, and just the best thing you can tell them is that no matter what you tell me, you are not in trouble. You are not in trouble, and it is not their fault. That's the best information that I hope you can take away from this. Okay? So, um, excuse me. So, that was the emotion I had, was just anger. But learning the metaphysics, you start to realize it's not actually anger, it's sadness, it's shame, it's guilt, it's all these other emotions. But the only emotion that I thought I had was just anger. And anger is just hiding the emotions. So, part of my next part of my healing journey that I started many years ago. Hmm, I want to say, I think about 6.5 years ago. I think closer to 7, but yeah. So what happened? This was a shocker. I never a couple times in my life, I had these moms that I knew that their kids were getting sexually abused. And I actually told them, I straight up said, listen, I need you to go, you like, talk to your kid. Like, this is happening. I like, when you go through abuse, you can see it and feel it on someone else. So keep that in mind. Um, the reason why most healers are really good healing, or really good able to pick up on things, is because they went through it themselves. And therefore, you can't, and which is so funny, because I thought like that was so hidden. I thought you had no clue that I was sexually abused when I was younger. And to find out, once I started talking to people about it, it was all like they knew, like it was around me. So even though we're thinking that it's like, oh, you can't see any of my emotions, you can't see what happened to me, that's not true. We can so relate, and people can get that feeling and just instantly have that connection. It's not necessarily a bad connection, because I strongly believe now that there is nothing. We're not victims, so I didn't go through that and like, oh, I'm a victim, poor me. No, I went through that so I could get into learning about healing. Like I said before, all the services that I offer, it's services I did on my own healing journey, and then I got certified when I realized it really worked. So let's discuss IET, Integrated Energy Therapy. If anybody knows, if you know Reiki, it's kind of very similar to Reiki. The big difference here is that you use the angels, and I don't know much about Reiki, okay? But you use the angels, you call in the angels to work through your hands to help that person. So, my teacher, Mary, I cannot even tell you. I'm trying to think of like what got me to go and receive this healing, and I don't know. I think at that time I was so awe because back in April when I got the one healing, um I think this literally happened maybe 7, 8 months ago. Once I started this healing my body and how I was feeling so much better and lighter, then I went back and got different healing because it was working for me. And I know it can work for you too. Um, but I can't recall how I went upon it. I was probably led there by my guides. But she was doing IET training, Mary. So I took the 2.5, 3 hours drive down there. I had no clue what IET was. I was very particular of not researching anything, just going with what I felt was right, because that's what I was teaching myself through the metaphysics, is going with whatever feels right to me and not having all the information so that my mind can't come in with fears and stuff where I don't go. So that's kind of just one thing that I put in, and it really worked for me. So IET, what is it? So IET works on many points throughout your whole body where we leave guilt, shame. The left side is the female side, the right side is the male side. So you have different parts that has like your liver stands for like shame is what you hold in your liver. So throughout your body, this vessel you have, certain emotions can be stored in certain body parts. And right down here by the spleen, that is where sexual abuse stays. And it was in my left side. Um, and again, like I said, I went to this not knowing anything about what it was. And when I got there, I'm glad I didn't research it, because at that time I was still like, nobody, you can't see I was sexually abused. And that was my mindset. So if I would have read that that helps release the energy, and that's what IET is, right? So IET is blocked energy that's through certain points of the body. And as the practitioner, I would go in and I would remove as much of that energy as that you're willing to allow me to move. Um, so when I got there and we started going over what it was, I started getting real nervous, because once she was talking about, and she said sexually abuse stores in this spleen area. And if you're female, it's on the left. If you're male, you're on the right, or it could be on both. It doesn't, I don't think that really matters per se. But it's basically going in and in tuning and getting the energy out, the blockage out of your body, and then realigning your body back to its normal self, whatever normal is. So it's that's what it is in a nut, in a Nutshell, right? I was like, what's that word? Nutshell. So, um, yeah. So let me give you some things. Okay. So top of the head, which would be right here. This is guilt. Guilt. So if you recall me earlier, I said that I had guilt around it. I had shame. I had anger. Yeah. So just guilt. Okay. So the back of your neck right here is a threat right back there. All right. Your throat and lungs is shame. Your shoulders is your shoulds. Should have, yeah, should have done something faster. Should have stood up for myself. All the shoulds on the shoulder. So if you have very heavy shoulders, if you always feel like your shoulders are so weighed down, I would say, how many shoulds do you have? And are you ready to get that energy off the shoulders? Because that's what IET is all about. Okay, so your liver and gallbladder is anger. Anger. I had a lot of anger, a lot. So that took quite some time to get there, and it's okay. On IET, it doesn't mean in one session you're healed. Sometimes you're ready, and yeah, one session, and it just all comes out. But let me keep going on. Okay, your spleen is the resentment. And your stomach is stress and powerless. Your kidneys is fear. So that's kind of like how it links in. But like I said, you go even deeper and you can get that the spleen is connected to sexual abuse. No, I'm sorry. It's a kidney. It's sexual abuse. Okay, so with just that little bit, I wanted to share, just go over what's going on. But it's literally you're putting your hands, and if you can still do this remotely. So even if you're in a different country, or even if you're in a different city, or if you don't really want to meet someone in person, but you really want the healing, this can be remote as well. Okay. But if you were one on one with me, I would literally put my hands on each part. All right. So now I'm going back to what happened to me and why I chose very strongly to be certified in this. I'm very intuitive, so I don't actually look at that book. I go with what you are presenting to me as I'm working through you. So, yeah, that's how I work with that. But that's just in the book, the basic understanding of where shame and resentment can hold blocks in the body. So, back to my training. I wanted to go last, okay, because this is how freaked out I was in this classroom with, I think, four of us, and the teacher. No, sorry, three of us and the teacher. So I was really freaked out that they were gonna know. They were gonna know that I was sexually abused, and I wanted nobody to know that. I just wanted that just to stay in my body forever. And I was getting really nervous, so I was like, "I'll go last. I'll go last." And Mary let me go last, but of course, Mary knew what was going on. So then it was my turn. I worked on this girl, and the parts that I get into intuition to like stay, I will stay there because it's just the angels working through me and telling me like stay here longer, or stay here longer, or stay up here, or stay here. It's yeah, you just do. This book is just kind of like a basic guidebook. The whole purpose is to link into your intuition and go exactly where you're guided to go. So here I go. I hop on the table. And like I said, I'm freaking out. I think I used the bathroom like 8 times, and like um I think like in an hour I was just so nervous and so scared of like what are they going to think of me? Which is interesting, like what are they going to think of me? Like, what? Um so that's what I did. I got on the table and I was like, okay. I was like, all right. But she started just like, with the head. That's what we were taught to do, was start with the head and work our way to each part of this body, to release. So, my head, I remember tingling. That's what I remember, and feeling very loopy, like I was drugged. That's instantly what I remembered when she was there. The shoulders felt more of like peace for me. So when her hands were on my shoulders, it felt more that I was at peace, and like things were melting away that I was carrying for so long. Hence my shoulds. And then she moved down, and as she got closer to the kidney area, I could feel a little bit of like tense, very scared. I think probably my inner child was coming out and going, "Oh no, oh no, what's like, let's not go there." So I'm just laying on the massage table, and she's right in that area, and I can feel this. And my eyes are closed the whole time. And I remember tears started slowly rolling down my face, and then all of a sudden it felt so heavy that it literally felt like I had an actual person on me, laying on me. That Mary, the teacher, had to go get this powerful wand crystal, this very long wand crystal, and came and just whooshed all that energy off me. But that was my biggest release of that. So even though I was fighting it, apparently something really wanted to get released, and it was that. And it felt like it oozed out. It felt like as she was putting her hands, it just started coming. And then it felt like I could barely breathe because it was so much energy on top of me. And then it was just literally as she took the crystal and she started at my head, and she told I don't remember the girl that was working on me. She told her, keep going, don't stop. She's just like, I just got to get this energy off her so she can breathe better. Uh, and that's what happened. That is my EIT, my personal experience with it, that helped me release this being sexually abused. Now, other parts, of course, as I got older, came back up to review with my sexual abuse. But what I wanted to share with you was why I do IET on people and what the benefit is. Now, the result of me releasing all that energy block that I had down in that area was my stomach was better. What do I mean? I basically mean that apparently, because this was my body, I was used to this, I would always not have a good digestive system. Like, not as far as I can recall, it wasn't like the greatest. Um, and things that I would like eat or something, it would just not, some things were just not great for the body, my body. Um, so what I noticed within the very first week of getting this IET session was that my stomach was processing. My stomach did not feel so tight. It felt like I had intestines tightly wrapped. And if you think about it, if you have energy, right, in your by your intestines, and it's just like this ball that is stuck there, how would your intestines move? Like, if you put your hands together and you start to do this, you can feel the energy. So imagine And this is just what I imagine it to be, was this big ball, because the amount that it felt right on my hand, on my body, was a big ball. So my intestines got to breathe because the energy was gone. So it was circling the way it was supposed to throughout the whole body. And my stomach got to expand where it was supposed to be. And then my bathroom stuff went away. My digestive. Sorry, I need water. Thank you. But yeah, so my digestive system went away. Or my digestive problems went away. Sorry, not my digestive system. My digesting problems went away. That's the miracle with this work. You can heal any part of your body. You just got to go for it. You got to face the fear and do it anyways. I was scared shitless, but I was there. I drove a couple hours. I wasn't getting out of it. And it was one of the greatest experiences that I had. And like I said, even past that, um, I got into journaling about it, and that really helped. Journaling and burning really helped me. So if you're not ready for that, then maybe you could be ready for writing it down in your journal and then burning it. Get it out. Get it out of the body. That's the biggest takeaway here. Get it out of the body. The body does not need to hold on and then create these blocks where you have digestive issues or you have migraines all the time. All this could be caused by blocked energy. Okay, so that is my story on my sexual abuse, and how IET really saved my life. And the reason why it saved my life so much was because I wasn't willing to even let people see that that happened to me. And then all of a sudden, I was there, and I guess I could. I mean, you always have choices, but I was already there. I was right where I was supposed to be, and I'm glad that my body was ready, that I was set up enough so I could let that go and get that out of my body. Okay, one thing I want to share with you guys is my business cards. I just got them done. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there it is. And on the back, it's all the stuff. Well, not all of it. It's growing. Um, yeah, and then that's my Etsy store down there. But I'm super happy with these. This is my very first business card. The last pack of business cards I had, I actually got a friend. I paid her to create this because at that time, you're talking, I think 5 years ago. Um, I didn't think I could create my own. Like, yeah. So same bee. She drawed the bee for me. So that's the same, but I changed the color, because my whole business is BU. And the B stands for the honey bee, because that always stood for my son, Lawrence, that passed. So I'm super excited. I wanted to share this with you. And also, I just did this, so I don't have any videos yet, but I have gotten onto TikTok. So I did put that in the description as well, and other places. So if you are watching this video and this really hit home for you, or if you had sexual abuse that you're needing and ready to let go of, then by all means, please reach out to me by email or by the phone number that's on my card or my webpage. Um, and then let's do this. And like I said, I can do this remotely. I can do this meeting you, and even if you want to meet but do not allow my hands to touch your body. I completely understand. And I don't need that. I don't have to do that. Okay. It's literally whatever you're comfortable with. And that's where we go, is wherever you're comfortable with. Also, I did my very first ever flea market today, selling my sun catchers and salt lamps and some crystals. And it was a great experience with connecting with a lot of people. So, as I keep trying to get farther and farther away from judgment, you have to realize that when you go into a flea market and you have anything like, oh, this is not going to attract this right amount of people or the right type of person, all that is judgment. And it's so nice that I went and I just flowed. Sorry, need another drink. I've been doing so much talking today. But yeah, it flowed and I had such great connections with people. So judgment is my biggest, that is where what I'm trying to break. Gratitude and letting go of judging, because as you do that, you actually get to see the souls of people instead of the human body that you see before. But judgment, we were based in on judgment. We were told how to dress, what to do, to fit in, and everything was linked on fitting in. And what is happening to me right now, the past few months alone, is I wear socks, mismatched socks. I wear two different earrings because I like having earrings. And why is that a belief that I have to have matching earrings and matching socks? Why can't I just wear what I want to? And that's what I'm doing. I'm breaking out and I'm wearing whatever feels right to me. Oh yeah, sorry. I'll show you guys this. This is my new necklace. I know, probably about right there. I literally made this 2 nights ago. I love it. Egyptian, right here. I love it. And also other things that I am about ready to start creating this month is angel oils. What is angel oils? Angel is when I in tune, when I channel the angels, and then they will give me certain oils, and then I create these mists that you just spray, and then you walk into it, and it will get you connected with that angel, and also the angels will have what that oil is meant to help you with. Excuse me. I need more water. But yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, like it, subscribe, please share if you know anyone that went through sexual abuse that you think that this can help them. Please share. And also, please check out my other Instagram and my TikToks, as I'm going to just be full force connecting with people, and just having a really fun, exciting life, because that's what it's all about. All right. You guys all take care. Bye.